If someone had video evidence in a high-profile kidnapping case, would they take it straight to the FBI, or would they try to sell it to TMZ for Bitcoin? On June 26, 2026, the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie took a strange new turn when an anonymous sender claimed they could hand investigators the people responsible. But is this the major break everyone has been waiting for? Or is it another cruel hoax aimed at Savannah Guthrie's family? Let's walk through the facts. If you want the truth behind the headlines, subscribe to U.S. Crime Stories for clear, unbiased, fact-based case updates. Now, to understand why this June 26th email matters, we have to go back and look at the chain of communications in this case. Because right now, the ransom notes and emails are some of the most concrete public pieces of evidence available, and they need to be looked at carefully, step by step. It began on the night of January 31st, 2026, going into the early morning hours of February 1st. Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of NBC Today anchor Savannah Guthrie, was dropped off at her Tucson, Arizona home by her son-in-law around 9:50 p.m. The next morning, Nancy did not appear for a virtual church service. Her family went to check on her, and she was gone. Police said the condition of the home was deeply concerning and did not match a voluntary disappearance. Later, law enforcement confirmed that bloodstains found near the entrance matched Nancy's DNA. For her family, that detail alone is devastating. Very soon after Nancy disappeared, the letters began. The first communications reportedly came around February 1st and in the days after. Those early messages demanded a large Bitcoin ransom, reportedly reaching into the millions. At that stage, the FBI and local authorities were treating the case as an urgent rescue mission because police said time was critical. Nancy needed daily medication for a heart condition. But only a few days later, the story inside the messages changed. Around February 6th, a second round of communications reportedly arrived. This is where the case became much more complicated. Instead of repeating the urgent ransom demand, these new emails allegedly claimed that an accident had happened. TMZ and other outlets reported that the sender said time was no longer critical. Later notes reportedly used language suggesting Nancy had died and had been buried with nature. That kind of claim is shocking. But this is where we have to be very careful and stay with confirmed facts. The FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department have not confirmed that Nancy is dead. She has not been found. So even though the letters claim she is gone, law enforcement still officially treats this as an active missing person and abduction case. Her death cannot be stated as fact because legally and factually it has not been verified. Now fast forward to late June 2026. A fourth major communication reportedly went around normal law enforcement channels and straight to the media, specifically TMZ. The sender of this new email is said to be the same person who sent the earlier ransom communications. But this time, they were not demanding millions in Bitcoin for Nancy's safe return. They were also not only taunting the family. Instead, they were blaming someone else. According to reports, the author of this new email claimed they had been watching the main person involved in the February 1st abduction. The sender reportedly wrote that they had a phone hidden in a secure location. And on that phone, they claimed there was a short video of the main guy with Nancy on what was probably her last day. The message also claimed the phone had pictures of both people involved, along with their names, addresses, and ages. In other words, the sender claimed they could hand over the suspects completely. If that is true, it could be the biggest piece of evidence in the entire 5-month investigation. But there is a catch. The sender reportedly said they would reveal the location of the hidden phone in exchange for 1 Bitcoin. At the moment, 1 Bitcoin is around $64,000. So when we look at this clearly, there are two sides to consider. On one side, this sender has reportedly been emailing media outlets since the beginning of the case. TMZ reported that the FBI previously confirmed one of the early February emails was legitimate. So if this really is the same sender, then the alleged video might exist. From an investigative point of view, it could mean the original fell apart. If more than one person was involved, they may now be turning on each other. The email sender could be a secondary person who got scared after things went wrong and is now trying to make money by exposing the main person. But the other side is just as serious. This could also be an elaborate scam. TMZ reportedly responded by asking for one screenshot from the supposed video to prove it was real. As of now, it has not been verified whether the sender ever provided that proof. And that raises a major question. If someone really had video evidence that could solve a federal kidnapping case, why ask TMZ for one Bitcoin when the Guthrie family and authorities are offering an official $1 million reward for information? The FBI has warned the public about hoaxers and scammers who insert themselves into major cases for money, attention, or both. The contradictions across these communications are hard to ignore. The story has shifted from a multi-million-dollar ransom demand to a claim that Nancy died in an accident, and now to a claim that video evidence exists to expose someone else. Investigators have to treat every note as possible evidence, but they also have to prove whether the person behind the June 26th email has any real physical connection to what happened on February 1st. Now let's talk about the Bitcoin part, because that is a major piece of this case. A lot of people ask why law enforcement has not simply tracked the Bitcoin wallet addresses from the original ransom demands. On the surface, it sounds easy. The blockchain is public, every transaction is recorded, but the reality is more complicated. Even though the blockchain is public, experienced criminals can use mixers or privacy-focused coins to hide the trail. When Bitcoin is sent to an illegal wallet, it does not always just stay there. The money can be moved through thousands of small transactions across international borders in seconds. To follow those funds through foreign cryptocurrency exchanges, the FBI may need international warrants and cooperation from foreign governments and private exchanges. Not every exchange complies with United States court orders, so asking for Bitcoin is not random. It is a calculated move that can take advantage of legal and international barriers. There's also the question of physical evidence, especially the video of the masked person at Nancy's doorstep. Many people want to know why authorities have not released the full unedited Ring camera or home security footage from the night of February 1st. The public wants to see it because someone might recognize the person's body movement, clothing, or behavior. But there is a strict legal reason why police often hold back evidence like that. In an active abduction case, judges and federal prosecutors usually limit what can be released. Police have said they need to protect the investigation. If the public knows every detail of the crime scene, including exactly what the suspect wore, the precise timeline, or the exact path taken, it becomes harder for investigators to separate real tips from fake ones. When people call in trying to claim reward money, detectives use unreleased details to test whether the caller actually knows something or is just making it up. By holding back the full video, investigators protect their ability to identify someone who is truly connected to the crime. That is frustrating for the public, and it has to be even more painful for the family. But that is the reality of a federal kidnapping investigation. This also raises a major question about the media's role. Is it responsible for media outlets to publish details from anonymous ransom letters before the FBI can fully verify them? There are two sides to that too. Side A is the risk. Publishing unverified information can be dangerous. It can warn suspects. If the main guy mentioned in the email sees the story and realizes someone may be trying to sell video evidence of him to TMZ, he could destroy evidence or run. It can also interfere with digital forensics and give attention to hoaxers who only want their emails broadcast to the public. Side B is the benefit. Publicizing these letters keeps attention on the case. It has been nearly 5 months. When cases go quiet, the public moves on, and pressure on authorities can fade. Releasing information can keep the case alive in the national conversation and possibly push real witnesses to come forward. If someone out there knows the main guy, hearing that a video may exist could be what finally makes them call the tip line. The Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI are reportedly treating this new email seriously but carefully. They have the names the anonymous sender provided, but we are not going to speculate about who those people may be. Law enforcement has not publicly cleared named, or arrested anyone. Naming people without confirmation would be irresponsible and could destroy innocent lives. The only suspect visual officially verified by police is the video evidence of an unidentified masked person on Nancy's porch the night she disappeared. This case is full of shifting stories, anonymous claims, and unanswered questions. But at the center of it is still an 84-year-old mother and grandmother who was taken from her home, leaving her family desperate for answers. That has to remain the focus. Savannah Guthrie and her siblings have pleaded for their mother's return, and no family should have to live through that kind of pain. Right now, the truth is buried under digital anonymity, and until the FBI physically recovers the alleged phone or confirms the video is real, everything the sender says remains a claim, not proof. Authorities will continue tracing the digital trail of that email. They will compare the names provided by the sender with known associates, local records, and any forensic evidence recovered from Nancy's home. If the sender gives TMZ the requested screenshot, it could become the break investigators need. But if the sender disappears, this may become another cruel dead end in a case already filled with them. We will keep following the verified facts as they are released by police and the court. Let's break down exactly what this new June 26 note is claiming without jumping ahead of the facts. The email says video footage exists. The sender claims the video shows the main suspect with Nancy on her final day. The note also reportedly included 2 specific names and ages of people allegedly connected to the plot. But this is the important part. Law enforcement has not publicly cleared, named, or arrested those individuals. So we are not going to speculate about who they are. Media outlets have forwarded the email to the FBI, but the actual video file has not been released publicly. More importantly, the FBI has not independently confirmed that the video exists or that the claims inside the message are true. When you look closely at what this anonymous sender is doing, they are building a very specific story. They claim the digital file is stored on a physical phone hidden in a certain location, waiting to be recovered. According to media reports, the sender says the clip shows Nancy with the main abductor on what they called her final day. Now, just think about how painful that sentence is for the family. Hearing someone speak so casually about a loved one's final day has to be unbearable. Police are reportedly studying the wording in the message to see whether it matches the psychological profile of the person behind the earlier ransom demands. But factually, until federal agents recover that phone and forensic analysts examine the data, nobody can assume the video is real. Right now, it is still completely unverified. And that brings us to one of the biggest problems in this case. This new claim directly clashes with earlier evidence. The second ransom note from February 6 claimed Nancy had already died shortly after she was taken. So if this new sender really has footage of Nancy on her last day with a suspect, then one of 2 things is happening. Either the February 6 note was false, or this was a calculated operation involving more than one person, with different people holding different pieces of information. If the February 6 letter was telling the truth, then the June 26 letter could be completely made up by someone who picked up details from the case and is now guessing. But if the June 26 letter is the truthful one, then it means Nancy may have survived longer than investigators were first led to believe. And that is the part that completely changes the timeline the Pima County Sheriff's Department has been working with for the last 5 months. So investigators have to look at this contradiction from 2 different angles. On one side, the FBI has to consider the possibility that the abductors are feeding conflicting information to the media and law enforcement on purpose. In many major extortion cases, suspect groups send mixed messages to create confusion, test police reactions, see what leaks to the press, and slow down digital investigators. If one note says Nancy passed away, and in another note months later claims there is video proof tied to her final day, it forces the task force to chase 2 different paths at once. They have to keep searching for a possible recovery location while also investigating leads that suggest she may have been held somewhere longer than previously believed. That stretches the investigation thin, and that may be exactly what the person behind the messages wants. But on the other side, there is the human cost. While investigators are forced to move with legal and forensic precision, Nancy's children and grandchildren are trapped in a terrible limbo. Imagine waking up every day for 5 months not knowing which message to believe. First, one letter suggests your mother suffered a fatal accident or medical event shortly after being taken. Then, months later, another anonymous email appears on a news site claiming there is video evidence of her final moments, with specific names attached. That kind of emotional torture is impossible to measure. Early court filings connected to estate protection said the family cooperated fully with law enforcement, following every directive and staying silent during critical periods so they would not compromise any possible rescue effort. Why not subscribe to U.S. Crime Stories right now? It helps us keep bringing you deep, unbiased, factual case breakdowns without the gossip and noise. Now, this changing story raises a question many people have been asking from the beginning. Why has law enforcement not simply tracked the Bitcoin wallet addresses from the first ransom notes? The fact-based answer comes down to how digital currency works. Yes, the blockchain is a public ledger, and yes, every transaction is recorded. But experienced criminals can use mixers or privacy-focused coins to scramble the trail. Once ransom money enters a wallet, it can be moved through thousands of tiny transactions across international borders. To track those funds through foreign crypto exchanges, the FBI and local authorities need complex international warrants. They also need cooperation from countries and private exchanges that may not share information with the United States. So, even though Bitcoin leaves a digital footprint, turning that footprint into a real person is a long and difficult legal process. And when you look at the technical side, it is not like the movies where a screen loads to 100% and suddenly shows an exact address. A blockchain mixer takes deposits from many different sources, pools them together, scrambles them, and sends them out to new destination addresses at random times. If the kidnapper used a strong mixing service back in February, the trail may have broken into thousands of tiny pieces. Police have said federal cyber units are monitoring the specific wallet addresses listed in the first 2 notes. But if the funds have not moved, or if they were transferred into unhosted wallets stored offline on a physical drive, then there may be no company server for the FBI to subpoena. That creates a serious legal problem. Even if federal prosecutors identify a digital exchange where the currency passed through, the trail can stop cold if that exchange is based in a country that does not recognize United States legal authority. That is why the June 26 sender demanding exactly 1 Bitcoin for the hidden phone location is so important. They are using the same financial tool that appeared at the start of the crime. But it also creates a major question about motive. If this person truly has names, identities, and video proof of the people involved, then they may have information that qualifies for the active $1 million reward offered by authorities and private donors. So let's break down both sides of that reward problem. Why would an informant demand about $64,000 in Bitcoin from a media outlet instead of trying to claim $1 million from the government? One possible answer is fear. If the informant is tied to the criminal world, or if they know the main suspect personally, they may understand that claiming a federal reward means signing statements, speaking to investigators, possibly appearing before a grand jury, and leaving a permanent paper trail. That could put them in danger. By going to TMZ and asking for 1 Bitcoin, they may think they can stay anonymous, get paid, and disappear without ever facing a judge or defense attorney. But the other side, which police have described as a highly likely possibility in cases like this, is that this could be a classic extortion scam by an opportunist. In major media cases, scammers often take public details, build a believable story around them, and contact newsrooms claiming they have the missing evidence. They choose a price that is low enough for a major media company to consider quickly, but high enough to be worth the scam. That could explain why the demand was 1 Bitcoin instead of millions. TMZ did the right thing by passing the message to the FBI immediately, protecting the chain of custody and making sure private money was not sent to an unverified source. As all these pieces keep moving, the focus still has to come back to Nancy Guthrie. She is an 84-year-old woman who was taken from the safety of her home. The Tucson community has spent months holding vigils, searching desert areas, and refusing to let her story fade away. Police say they are still processing tips every day, but this June 26 letter has forced investigators to take another hard look at the digital evidence. Whether this note turns out to be a breakthrough or another cruel distraction, it shows why the search for the truth has to be slow, careful, and based only on verified facts. Moving on from the digital currency complications we just discussed, this new TMZ letter makes the official law enforcement position even more important. Right now, the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI are working through a massive joint task force. Police said they are treating the June 26 email as a high-priority lead, but they are also handling it with extreme caution. A lot of people online keep asking why authorities do not just arrest the people named in the email immediately. And honestly, it is a fair question. But in real life, it does not work that way. Their biggest focus right now is digital forensics. When an email skips normal law enforcement channels and goes straight to a media outlet, it leaves behind a digital trail. The FBI Cyber Division is working to trace the email routing. They are looking at IP addresses, server logs, and metadata attached to the message to figure out where it really came from. And you would think that in 2026, finding one email sender would be simple. But people who know how to hide online can bounce their signal through proxy servers across different countries. They can use encrypted networks to cover their location. In past digital extortion rulings, courts have made it clear that until investigators can physically connect a device or IP address to a real suspect in a real location, an email is basically a digital ghost. It is a lead, but it is not proof. We also have to remember that the official $1 million reward for information leading to Nancy Guthrie's location is still active. That is a huge amount of money, and it creates a serious risk of people making up evidence just to try to claim it. When you put $1 million on the table, it changes the entire atmosphere around a missing person case. That kind of money can make people desperate. Police said that in high-profile cases like this, the official tip line can be flooded with thousands of calls. Some people may honestly believe they saw something important, but others may be trying to force themselves into the story for money or attention. And that takes a massive amount of time and manpower to sort through. Investigators have to figure out whether a caller actually knows something real about Nancy, or whether they just read public details online and decided to take a chance. That is exactly why they cannot treat the June 26 letter as automatically true. If someone invented this entire story about a hidden phone and secret video just to negotiate money, it wastes valuable investigative time. So yes, the task force has to treat the names in the email as a serious lead, but they cannot act publicly until they verify the source. And through all of this, we still have to remember the human side. Nancy's family is waiting for answers. Savannah Guthrie and her family have cooperated with authorities throughout this case. They are living through a nightmare, and every time another anonymous letter appears in the media, it drags them back into the spotlight. That has to be handled with respect. It is easy to focus on IP addresses, Bitcoin, and hidden phones, but at the center of this is a family missing their mother and grandmother. This also brings up a major debate about how the press is handling the case. Is it responsible for media outlets like TMZ to publish details from anonymous ransom letters before the FBI has fully verified them? There are two clear sides to that question, and both need to be looked at fairly. On one side, the main criticism is the risk of reporting unverified claims. Publishing these tips can alert the real suspects that investigators are now looking into certain names or certain evidence, like a hidden phone. If the people who took Nancy are watching the news and they see a story about a video showing their faces, they may panic. They could destroy evidence, move locations, or leave the area completely. It can also hurt the digital forensic work. If the sender realizes the FBI is tracing the email, they could wipe servers, delete accounts, or disappear deeper online. And beyond that, publishing these letters can give a national platform to hoaxers who only want attention. You do not want to hand a scammer a microphone and let them torment a grieving family in public. But on the other side, there is a strong argument for public awareness. Releasing details from the letter keeps Nancy's case in the national spotlight. After 5 months, the public can start to move on. The news cycle shifts. People forget. But a major update like this brings pressure back onto the case. That pressure can push law enforcement to keep putting serious financial and human resources into the investigation. It can also keep pressure on local officials to support the joint task force. And maybe most importantly, it could encourage real witnesses to come forward. If someone out there actually knows the names mentioned in that email, hearing about the video claim on the news might be the thing that finally makes them call police. Now, moving to the physical evidence, there is another question people keep asking every day. Why have authorities not released the full, unedited Ring camera or home security footage from the night of February 1? A lot of people are frustrated by that. They feel like if the public could see the full video, someone might recognize the suspect's walk, clothing, body shape, or even a vehicle passing in the background. But the legal reason for holding back that footage is actually very clear, even though it is frustrating. In an active abduction case, judges and federal prosecutors usually limit the release of critical evidence. If the public knows every detail of the crime scene, like exactly what the masked person wore, the timeline down to the second, or the exact path taken into the house, it becomes extremely hard for investigators to separate real information from false confessions. As we discussed with the reward money, some people will confess to crimes they did not commit. Others will call in fake tips to frame someone else or chase the reward. When someone calls in with a tip or confession, detectives use unreleased details to test whether that person is lying or telling the truth. Police said they use holdback evidence for exactly that reason. If a caller knows something that was never released to the public, like a specific item the suspect touched on the porch, that can tell investigators they may be speaking to someone with real knowledge of the crime. But if every detail is made public, then anyone can sound like the real kidnapper. Courts have also said protecting this type of evidence matters for a future trial. If everything is released too early, it can affect the jury pool. Defense attorneys could later argue that their client cannot get a fair trial because the public already judged them based on the video. So where does the investigation stand right now? The FBI has not confirmed whether the names in the June 26 letter match their current suspect pool. They are keeping that information private to protect the case. As investigators follow the digital trail and forensic teams look into this supposed hidden phone, the public has to wait for verified facts. We cannot let emotion create rumors, lies, or online gossip. We have to stay with what the court has said and what police have confirmed on the official record. At the center of all this legal procedure and digital tracking is still an 84-year-old woman who is missing, and a family that is still searching for the truth. I want to ask everyone watching to weigh in on this complicated situation. As investigators follow this digital paper trail, what do you think this new video claim really means for the case? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for staying until the end. Please make sure you subscribe so you do not miss the next video when we upload it.